Autumn's Baking Show, and I'm Autumn. And these are my two younger sisters.
I'm April.
I'm Ayla.
So today we're going to be making buttery crescent rolls. I'm going to start by grabbing a large mixing bowl. And in this large mixing bowl, we're going to combine, let me look at my recipe real quick. In the large mixing bowl, we're going to dissolve yeast. So April wants to stick the yeast in. Okay, so there's the yeast. And 1 teaspoon of sugar. Haley, want to stick the sugar in? Now I'm going to look at my recipe one more time. It'll be a half a cup of warm water. Okay, so a half a cup of warm water. Got my warm water now. I'm going to pour it in. And now when we pour that in, now that that's in there, we have to wait for the yeast to dissolve. And it should only take a couple of minutes. But once it's fully dissolved, we'll add in a few more of the ingredients. So as you can see, it's starting to bubble up in there and stuff, and that's what we want. And once you don't see very much yeast or sugar left, then you can add the rest of your ingredients. Hi, so now this is all dissolved, and it looks like this. It's kind of just like a dissolve now. So I did stir it up a little bit, so that will help it dissolve faster. So now we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. Add butter. So we're going to add a whole stick of softened butter. So the whole stick of softened butter is in the bowl now. And so then we're going to add, and now we're going to add the milk that I have to warm up real quick. It has to warm, so it has to warm the milk up. The milk has to be pretty warm, not hot, not boiling, just warm. At the end of the video, you'll see there'll be a link down below with the recipe, with the exact measurements and instructions. Hi, so the milk's all done now. It's all warm, so I'm going to add it in. So I'm going to add this warm milk in. So now that the milk's in there, I'm going to look at my recipe again and see what comes next. So now I'm going to add one large egg. Oh, I'm going to add 1 large egg, room temperature. I'm just going to stick it into the mixing bowl. And hold on. And then now we're going to add this. Now we're going to add salt. So the recipe will tell you the exact measurements of salt. I'm just going to grind the salt in with the salt grinder. But down below, the link of the recipe will tell you the exact measurements. Okay, so that should be enough salt. So now we're going to add in now we're going to add the remaining sugar.
We'll let you add some. And then let me add some.
Okay, so add in all the sugar. Okay, so now we're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're going to make sure, so I have 4 cups here because at the end you're going to add in the other 2 cups. But so I'm just going to scrape out the 2 cups out of here with my spoon. So I'm just going to scoop out. Right now I'm going to check. So I'm just going to take a small scoop. There, that's perfect. So that's 2 cups of flour in now. And now I'm just going to take a look at my recipe again. I'm going to beat until smooth in our mixer. Excuse me for a minute, April, so I can grab it. we're going to attach. We're going to use the dough hook to knead this, to beat this. So I'm just going to attach the dough hook to our mixer. There. So now I'm going to stick it in the bowl, and I'm going to turn the mixer on, starting on slow so the flour doesn't flip. And well, so I'm going to let this stir for a little bit. So this will have to, so this is going to have to stir. I'll show you the inside of the bowl. See there, it's stirring in there. We gotta get the egg and everything stirred in. I'm going to shut the mixer off quick, and I'm going to scrape down the flour from the edges. I'm going to use my squeegee, and I'm going to scrape down all the flour from the edges and the bottom, making sure that it's really going to get mixed in. Sometimes mixers are funny like this. April locked the mixer and so this is going to keep stirring up, and it's almost combined, and this makes such a nice dough. It's so fluffy, the bread's always so soft, such a buttery dough. It's delicious. It's our favorite bread recipe. So it's getting mixed. Yep. Once more, because I can see that there's still flour underneath there. So the recipe does say to knead it, but we are going to knead it because of the mixer, so we're just going to mix it for a little longer, even past when it's combined. Instead of kneading it, we're just going to mix it for a little longer. But if you don't have a mixer, you have to spread flour out, and you have to put your dough on a floured surface, and you have to knead it and knead it. There's exact kneading times in the link of the recipe below. So now it's combined, I'm going to let it do its kneading time, which will only be for a little bit because the mixer is pretty fast, so I'll turn it on. I'm going to take a look at my recipe quick to see what we're going to have to do next after this. So we're going to stir about the rest of the 4 cups of flour, so we're going to add the other 2 cups. Now I'm going to check it and see if it's smooth enough. It looks sticky. I know, we have to add in the rest of the flour, April.
Ooh, see, sticky dough.
Ooh, can I see? Sure, see. Oh, see those flour on the edges. So I'm going to scrape it down, just kind of stir that flour in. Now that we got a smooth dough, I'm going to show you a smooth dough quick, and then we'll add the rest of the flour. April, can you stick the spatula back in there? I'm going to take the spatula real quick. See, now that it's all smooth and mixed in together, we're going to, Ayla, you want to help me scrape in this flour, and then you can next, April. Be careful not to spill any of our flour. Okay, April, you want to help me scrape it in there? Okay, now I just put the rest of the flour in. Okay. Now I'm going to stick it back in the mixer, and we're going to let that combine together again. Just until the flour is all combined and it forms a nice, soft, but tougher dough. Not tough, but until it's not so runny.
It sounds like it's tough. The dough has muscles.
This is such a great recipe, and the dough always turns out so nice and soft. If you added the 2 cups of flour and it was too tough for you, then you can always leave out about a half a cup or a cup if you want it even softer. It'll just make the dough a little harder to work with. But if you really want it that soft, then you can always grease your hand with butter or olive oil. And now I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to take a look at the dough and see how it is. My dough off. Hold on, Ayla. I'm going to take my dough off and now
see our nice soft dough? It's so nice and fluffy and soft.
Can I try the dough?
Sure, you can feel it. See, it's nice and soft. So I'm going to get my bowl, my buttered bowl. Let me grab it. And here I have a buttered bowl all ready. Gotta move the camera for you. Okay. So here we have a buttered bowl all ready. It's all greased and buttered. And so you always flip your dough on the top, twist it, and then you flip it back to get the top a little buttery. And then we're going to have to cover this with, you can use tin foil or towel. I'm going to use tin foil since I don't have a towel in the kitchen right now. Hey, let me hop down your stool for a second, please, sweetie. Thank you. So I'm just going to take a little tin foil. Tin foil. And this has to rise for an hour, or if it looks poofy enough by half an hour, you could probably take it off early or late. So I'm going to set this on the oven and let it rise. Make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and then you can leave the dough on there to rise. So that has to rise for an hour, so I'll see you in an hour. Hi, so now the dough has risen for an hour. And I roast it for a little longer because it was taking, because it wasn't quite poofy enough yet. So, but I already have a pre-buttered pan, and so now I'm going to show you how poofy the dough got, and I'm going to grab it. The stove. So, here's our dough, and it sure is poofy now. Can I punch it? You can both punch it. Ayla's been looking forward to that. So here it is. It's gotten really poofy. Ooh. Can I punch it? Okay, wait, it might be hot in the top. Okay, it's not. Okay, so now my sisters, April and Ayla, are going to punch it down. Okay, look at how nice and fluffy it is. It's a really nice dough. So I'm going to make it into a nice loafy shape.
And can I help?
Hold on, sweetie. This is kind of hard for two people to do. You have to just make it to a nice little shape. So I'm just going to make it into a nice loafy shape like this. See, just like this. I'm going to place it and kind of spread it out in the loaf pan, just like this. And then, once it's all spread out in the loaf pan like that, it has to raise for another half an hour like that. So I'm going to take a new piece of tin foil, and then I'll stick that on the pan. So I'm going to stick this on the pan like this, and I'm just going to kind of use the edges to hold it on. Okay, so now this is going to rise for another half an hour. So we'll see you in half an hour. Hi. So now the dough has risen for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna grab it and give you a look at how poofy it was. Oh, that's really poofed on them. It really broke the tin foil. This is the poofiest I've ever seen my dough get. And I've seen some pretty poofy dough.
Me too.
So it's really poofy. Look at this dough. I'm just gonna push it in a little bit. So
I just like to feel it kind of.
So now this is going to go into the oven at 350, and it's going to cook to 10 to 16 minutes, or until golden brown. So now I'm going to stick it into the oven. Now we're going to cook it in the oven set for 350 degrees, and it has to cook for 10 to 16 minutes, or until golden brown. So see you then. Say bye, Pinky. Hi, here's the finishing results of the bread we made, and it is beautiful. And I'm just going to slice. A slice off for April. And then I'm going to put some butter on it. So here's a piece of our beautiful bread that we made today. And here is the beautiful loaf of bread. So here's the bread. It turned out so beautifully. It was such a great recipe, such a nice dough. And it's so soft and delicious. It's just the perfect bread. Try this and see for yourself.